Conrad's model of the Liebherr R954BV demolition excavator was first introduced in 2001. This latest version is improved compared to the original model and is in the colours of Rino, a German demolition company. It comes in a standard Conrad branded box, and the machine itself is the first item out, and there's also a bag containing a couple of plastic pins. Next out is the digging arm with the bucket permanently attached, and then there's the main demolition boom. There's also an extra tool which can be fitted to the demolition boom, and there are two stands which are used to store the booms on. There are a few parts to the model, but there's no instructions provided, and there's nothing about the real machine. With the parts out of the box, we'll just initially assemble it as an excavator, and we can arrange the parts as if it was on a demolition site by putting the stands in place and then putting the two booms resting on the stands. And this gives you a neat way to display the model, and we'll see more of that later. Attaching either of the booms is really very simple. You just have to offer it up, and there's a couple of positions that you can pin in. So you pin the top first, and you just use a plastic pin to do that. And there are two different positions for the bottom pin, so the digging boom can either be straight or cranked. And for this review, it'll be pinned in the cranked position. The plastic pins didn't quite go completely through, so just push them in with a flat-headed screwdriver or something. The final thing to do, just like on the real machine, is then to just connect up the hydraulics, and that just presses into place on the top of the boom. And then the machine is ready. There's not much in the way of detail underneath, but the model does have metal tracks which are better than the plastic tracks that the original version of the model had. The tracks are mounted on fairly simple track frames which don't have any moving rollers. This is a demolition machine, so there's a protective guard on the front of the cab, and that's plastic. And the other cab details are really very simple. There's just a metal grab rail. The body is a decent metal casting with a plastic engine cover, but the thing that really sets the model apart is the livery and the very good graphics. At the front there's no metal handrail, and the details are fairly simple. However, on top of the boom foot there's plenty of plastic hoses, and they look okay. The digging boom is fairly simple in that there's no hydraulic hoses, but the graphics are very good. Not all of the connection rivets are painted, and the bucket is a fairly simple casting. The demolition boom has more very good graphics, the hydraulic cylinder jackets have a reasonable colour match, and there are more plastic hydraulic hoses. The crusher tool is metal, and it's a very solid piece. And if you use your imagination, it looks like it's got a face. The other tool is a sorting grab, and it's a well-made piece all in metal. Trying out the crawler tracks on a smooth surface, and they don't really roll at all, but on a rough surface they can be made to roll by applying a little bit of downward pressure. The track mechanism is reasonably good with a bit of stiffness, and the tension is kept by some spring-loaded idlers. As you would expect, you can fully rotate the body, although it is fairly stiff on this model. As far as the digging function is concerned, there's a very good range of movement on all of the hydraulics. They are very, very stiff though, but that's good because it means the model can hold any pose you want to set. You can fold it right up small for transport, or if you want to dig down deep, then the model will replicate that as well. Or you can pose it reaching up high, or fully stretch it out. Either way, the model will hold the pose without drooping down. The demolition boom is a much bigger affair, and the first little feature it has is there's a little pull-down clip which allows you to clip the two booms together, and in that way they would be secured for use as a transport load. Mounting the big boom is just the same process as it was for the excavation boom. You just pin it at the top and then pin the bottom and fix the hydraulics. The cylinders on the demolition boom are also very stiff, which is good because the boom is heavy, but it will hold almost any pose you want to set. You can stretch it right up to reach a height of about 50 centimeters if you want, or you can set the main boom vertical and the secondary boom horizontal, and at that point the model is just about stable. The tool connection at the end of the boom is very good because you've got a full range of movement possible, so you can position the tool at any angle on your demolition site. And the tool also rotates fully. The jaws are controlled by a small cylinder, and so you can open it up so you can see the sharp teeth, but just be a bit careful when you close it that it doesn't nip your finger. This model comes with a second tool that you can fit, so to effect the changeover you just pull out one small plastic pin and then the tool unhooks from the end of the boom. You just then simply reverse the process to fit the other tool, which is the sorting grab. You just hook it over on one side and push the plastic pin in, and when you've done that you've got a nice secure connection. The sorting grab can rotate at the end of the boom just like the crusher, and it's also got a very nice mechanism for opening and closing with both sides opening and shutting equally. Another display option you've got with this model is, if you have suitable transport, is to make up a couple of transport loads. So here the excavator is rigged in its digging format, and that can go on a low loader, and we can put the sorting grab on too. And on the other truck you can place the demolition boom supported on its stand, and you can also carry the crusher tool separately. It doesn't have to be fixed to the boom. This model first appeared over 10 years ago, so it's not up to date in terms of modern detailing, but it is a flexible and interesting model, and there's no doubt that it looks very attractive in the colour scheme of Rhino. All in all, it's a recommended demolition model.